Today we're going to talk about, on this Tuesday, because we like to give work tips on Tuesdays to kind of keep your week at a good flow and keep you focused on the things that you should be focused on during the week. So today we're going to talk about your boss hating you. Have you ever been in that situation? Have you ever been in that situation where you just really felt like your boss had it out for you, could not stand you, wanted nothing to do with you, didn't like you, nothing you could do was ever good enough or right for them? There's a lot of people who struggle with that. And what I hope today that we can do is kind of show you maybe a different perspective, and as well as solve that problem. Like if you find yourself in that place where it just seems like he or she is out to get you, whether it's the business owner or it is the management team, that you feel ignored, or you feel like you're just kind of even misplaced, that whatever your gifting is, it doesn't feel like it matters actually to your boss. I've seen situations like that. Some people seem to believe that the boss has certain favorites, and maybe you're not one of them, or maybe you are one of them. But is that true? Does the boss actually have favorites? I think in some lower level management, there definitely is some of those people that do definitely play favorites. But I also believe that there are some who have the perception that they believe that their boss has favorites, and I'm not one of them. There's been a study that was done by Zippia, which has cited two major reasons people think that their boss hates them. One is that they feel ignored or they feel micromanaged. So if you've been ignored by your boss, or you feel like you're being micromanaged, there could be another reason for that. There really could. And here's the bottom line. You're not going to change your boss. This is the bottom line, friend. That if that's what you're walking through right this minute, you're not going to change the person that you're working with. Let me just ask you this. How difficult is it for you to change, let alone for you to change somebody else? Even like maybe somebody else that could even be like twice your age, that has maybe twice your experience. The other thing to look at is this. I want you to look into your childhood, and I want you to see if there has been a pattern of feeling ignored. Has there been a pattern of feeling micromanaged? Maybe as a child, did you have a parent that was hovering over you, watching over you constantly, making sure that you were not screwing up, or making sure that you were doing something right versus doing something wrong? Because this could have programmed your very mind to feel like you can't do anything right. And so when you're in the workplace with this feeling that you have that I can't do anything right, well, then what happens is that now you present that opportunity to the person who is managing you. And because of the fear of not doing everything right, the fear of messing up, the fear of making a mistake when it comes time to producing a job, to producing a result, because that fear is what's in the background of your mind, you will make mistakes. What you fear most is going to happen. And so therefore, you create the reality for the boss. You're teaching your boss to micromanage you. That if you're missing deadlines, you're not able to produce what it was that they asked you to produce, that if there's constant miscommunication or even misunderstanding from the boss to you, friend, then there's a great chance that you have trained your boss to micromanage you, which you don't want, and neither do they. So we've asked this question to our audience, and we've got Tatiana, I love that name, nice Italian name, from Miami. So Tatiana, do you feel like you've been hated by your boss before?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So tell me about the circumstance that happened.
Well, I was with that company for a very long time, and I was titled as a very good employee. I did my job more than, I did my job. And then they changed bosses, and I think she just didn't like the fact that I guess I was good. And
that you were what?
That I was good. That I was doing my job. I guess I don't know. I think the owners of the property, they really loved me, and I think she didn't have the same relationship with them that I had, and it was kind of like a jealousy. I literally can say I try to understand her. I try to be on her place. I try to lower myself, and everything I would do, she would always try to shut me down. And if I if I had plans to, okay, why we do this, let's do that. Or like I was over being very prepared even before my meetings. And I think she hated that I was prepared. And so I started feeling, I lasted with her 3 years.
Wow.
And I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I hated going to work. I lost my vision with the company and everything. I felt like I was not heard, appreciated for what I was doing. So I got job termination. One day I came to my house and I said, "This is it. It's done. I'm out." And I listened to job termination. I remember that that was a Tuesday. I sent my resume to a company that I always heard good things about it. 3 days later, I got an interview and I went and I got the job and I left. And when I gave my resignation, I cried. I was so, I felt like it was a divorce that I did not want to get divorced, but I had to,
Man.
But it's just my previous boss, she was a true leader. She will inspire me.
Yeah.
She will make me be better. I wanted to be like her, but then this other boss, she I don't know. I mean, who doesn't want an employee to bring more value or to bring better, to have I even had a nice team and everybody was motivated to work with me. So I felt like I'm motivating my employees, but I'm not being motivated.
Okay, Tatiana, hold on. I have a question for you. First of all, congratulations on the new job that you got. I'm really sorry that you suffered through what you had to suffer through with this other style of management, which was very different than the former style of management. But the real question I have for you is, if you were that good, how come they didn't promote you to that management position? Because
this is what happened. When the promotion that she had, she got it. She actually got it because I was pregnant. It was offered to me, but because I was pregnant, I didn't want to have the pressure.
Okay, so hold on, time out. So the reality is that you were the first choice for the position and you turned the position down.
Yeah.
And the result was somebody with lesser experience, lesser leadership now took the role.
Yeah.
And the consequences were to your choice of turning the job down was now having to serve someone else instead of looking back. Should you have taken the role and trained somebody up to lead the way you knew how the department needed to be led?
Yes.
Yes.
But when they had other, the same position, they were not letting me.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on. You said yes just to pacify me. Because here's the reality, Tatiana. We cannot control anyone. All we can control is our choices. Our choices. And everything you just finished telling me was you were a victim in this circumstance. Now, how that new boss treated you was wrong. It's obvious they didn't have the maturity to lead people. They didn't have the character to lead people. And they were not the first choice of the business. You were the first choice. But you chose to turn down the position, so therefore the whole business actually suffered as a direct result, and they lost a great leader who was you. So looking back, you can't blame that woman. You can't say, how could someone not want value? Because she hasn't yet learned what you have learned. So it's easy to judge from the position of your position because you had the chance to be mentored by a good leader who inspired you. So we can't judge someone else that hasn't been mentored by that kind of leadership. But all we can do is take full responsibility and own our own choices. Otherwise, Tatiana, we will be a victim in this next job too. That even though you got another job, there's going to be a change of hands. There's going to be different management coming in. And the reality is that until you learn how to deal with that kind of leadership, you will not be able to advance yourself beyond where you're at right now. You see, we live in a world that our world tells us that we've got to be pampered, we've got to be inspired instead of inspiring, that we have to have people treat us good, that we have to have things be convenient for us, that we need to get lots of recognition, perception that we need to be made feel important and special. And if at some point I'm not made to feel special and important, then I'm out of here. I cannot handle it. So we wait for the other person to change. In all reality, we are the one that has to change. We are the one that has to grow regardless of how we are being treated and regardless of how somebody's leadership is coming across to us. And so there are ways to get inside of the heart of that person who obviously was insecure, who was obviously intimidated, who was obviously threatened by your leadership style, and felt even ever so more insecure because of your leadership style. And so I've been in situations like that. And the fact is I can't wait for that person to change, to grow up, to mature, to get it. But I have to get it. I have to gain the understanding that that is a grown human being and it takes the average person 8 years to change. I'm not going to wait 8 years. But I got to change how I see this person. I got to change how I'm judging this person. I got to change how I'm communicating with this person. I need to change my response to my perception of this person and learn how to have those intimate conversations with what appears to be my adversary and confront these issues to bring harmony and restoration. So for you, Tatiana, I'm proud of you for the steps that you've taken. There's one place I don't want you to be a victim. You don't want to be a victim. Victims lose. Victims lose. And you don't want to lose because you will repeat this cycle again of a divorce with a job. We're going over to Johnny from College Station. Johnny, have you been hated by your boss?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Now, do you know for sure you were hated by your boss? Or was that your perception of your boss?
That was probably my perception from my boss by how he treated me.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, to this very day, and I've left there 5 years ago,
Wow.
but to this very day, I still question what did he...
What?
I had tenure there. I'd been there over 10 years.
Wow.
I had a good work record.
Wow.
I had good evaluations every year from my supervisor. Never had problems with any of my coworkers. My coworkers and I got along real well. Even my coworkers noticed it.
Right.
And, so it wasn't like...
Was this a new boss that came in kind of like Tatiana's situation?
He kind of came in.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of came in after another boss. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let me ask you a question, because you said, I'm still wondering 5 years later after I've already left that place, what are you still wondering? What he had against you?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Johnny, did you ever ask the question?
I did. I actually confronted him once.
And what did he say?
I told him, I said, hey, it's obvious you have a problem with me or you don't like me.
Good job.
And what is it?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, I don't know why you would feel that way. I don't. I said, well, I'm asking you because that's how you make me feel. I feel like you have a problem with me. I said, there was a time when there was promotions that came up and I didn't even get considered, and I had more tenure than any of the guys that you promoted. I had more experience than any of the guys that you promoted. I said, my name wasn't even brought up.
Wow.
And so I just always felt like he had it in for me.
Wow. Johnny, I'm really sorry that you've experienced that. And wrapping up today's show, here's two things I want to talk about. Okay, so here Johnny said, we heard him say, you make me feel like you don't like me, okay? We are in charge of our feelings. First of all, Johnny, I'm so proud of you for having that conversation. Like, that is such maturity to have that conversation. But let's look back, okay? Because I don't ever want anybody that is in our audience or a part of our clients to ever be a victim. Because when you are a victim, you've given your power, your ability, your success over to another person. And so what I love that you did is you confronted the issue. And so the issue is that you chose to feel rejected by your boss. And so here's two things I want to talk about. One is that we're responsible for our own feelings and we are responsible for our response to the boss. Okay, number one. We are in control of that. Number two, if you're a boss and you're listening right now, you just heard two terrible stories. And sadly, that's more of what I hear than the other side. I have to dig so hard to find good stories about good bosses, which is so lame. It is so easy for the vast majority of the employees that are working in our world today that they've got a boss they cannot stand. So the question I have for you, Mr. Boss, is are you one of them? Are you playing favorites with the employee that gets the kind of results you care about, but you're ignoring the employees that do the administrative stuff that actually helps the one get results? Are you the boss that when you're in a bad mood, everyone knows it? Guess what? You don't have the right to be in that bad mood in front of your people. You don't have a right to wear that smug look on your face and to be carrying the weight of what you think is all your responsibilities. It affects your people. And in the case of these two situations, listen, it is time that if you have any insecurity and you are threatened by someone's production, you got some heart issues you better work through. You've got some things that have to change. In fact, this is what I recommend that you do. Whether you think you're a good boss or a bad boss, this would be a really important thing to do, is I would go to your people and say, I want you to speak freely. And if there is anything that I do that makes you feel unimportant, if there's something I do that makes you feel ignored, or you feel like I am micromanaging, I want you to tell me about it. I want us to have really good relationship and good communication. And here's why I want you to do this. Because you got to create an environment to hear your people, to draw out of your people their thoughts, their feelings, and all of the talent that's inside of them. You just heard two great employees that had a long time that they spent invested into a company and left because of a new manager. Friend, listen to me. That might be you. You might be that manager. And on the flip side, I say to the ones that left, don't be a victim. Learn how to find the bullseye of what makes your boss tick. Learn to make them feel special and important. We have a tendency of doing it one way and only one way, expecting him to inspire us or her, expecting him or her to ignite us, to charge us, to teach us. We're expecting all that pressure is on them, and they're under a significant amount of pressure. And so I want you to start asking questions of what you can do to relieve them and how you can get better. And don't let a year go by or 6 months go by before you have those conversations. Have those conversations monthly and let them know, I want to help you win. I want to help this team win. I am for this organization. I am for this company. And I want to see everybody win. And I want to do my part. So I want to know, what can I do better? How can I improve? What are the tasks that are on your task right now that I can actually help you with? So friend, listen, don't be a victim. And if you're that boss, you better be careful and you better be doing a gut check. You better be doing a character check, because largely, and studies have proven this, that it's bad managers it's actually just any bad employee. Any employee that is ignoring people, not good people skills, not good character, they drive out the good people. And the good people will last longer and longer, and then they're done. They're absolutely done, and they know they're going to be valued by somebody else. So evaluate yourself today on this Work Tip Tuesday. And by the way, if you want more tips like what we just finished talking about, you got to get a hold of First Steps to Wealth. It's free on our website. Don't be an idiot. You can change the circumstances inside of your office at work. You do not have to be the victim, and you don't have to be the jerk. There is solutions. Inside this book is going to put the words in your mouth to communicate correctly so that you can pull out the best in the boss and or the employees, okay? This book, First Steps to Wealth, it's how I went from homeless to millions, now giving millions away to taking care of the extreme poor. Right here. Get your copy right now. First Steps to Wealth. Go to DannyJohnson.com. It's right on there. You can download the free copy, or you can contact our office to get your physical copy if you want a physical one. All you have to do is take care of the shipping to get it to your house. We'll go ahead and take care of the book. All right, that's it for us today. Listen, somebody needs to see today's show. Somebody needs to hear these testimonies that we heard about bosses. They need to hear about why people left, and they also need to hear that if someone's about to leave, they have to stop being the victim, and they got to find solutions. Search for those solutions. And on the flip side, friend, a boss needs to hear today's show as well. Because, man, when you hear those kind of stories, something shifts in your head and you're like, crap, I do that. Man, I need to fix that. And you need to fix it. You need to own your mistakes. Say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I've totally screwed that up. I'm going to work on this and let's hold each other accountable. All right? So thanks so much for joining us today. Share this video, whichever way that you saw it, how you saw this show. You can go to the website, you can copy the URL of it and get it out to everybody you know because people need to hear it. God bless you. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DannyJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Danny Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.